So I was sitting in my dormitory meaninglessly. That was because my precious Pantone validated Asus ZenBook 14X OLED laptop was broken, and I had nothing to do. Or is it? I had Raspberry Pi 5 laying around, and it was advertised to have PCIe lane, dual HDMI port, active cooling, and so much more. It should have been better than previous versions, right? So I opened up my drawer and picked up my Pi. I installed the M.2 head and the NVMe drive. I also installed Samsung 128GB SD card with Raspbian 64-bit pre-installed and put the whole thing into 3D printed case. After first boot, I entered the Raspberry config software and disabled Display Manager auto login. Then I set basic localization settings. After that, I set maximum PCIe link speed. Next, I updated bootloader EEPROM. This makes booting more stable and faster. And next, I set the boot order to prioritize NVMe drive. Then I used the bundled drive copying software to copy the operating system to NVMe drive. After booting on NVMe, I executed software update command and installed Flatpak package manager with some system localization packages. While the installation is running, I set up the Firefox account synchronization to get my bookmarks. The browser was already packed with some optimization like UBO. After all the things were done, I tested KiCad performance. In case of you don't know, KiCad is open source PCB design tool. Surprisingly, it was really smooth and fast even though the Pi lacks of graphics performance. You're watching the footage in real time now. Loading symbol, editing schematics, drawing PCB, everything was satisfying. Next up is Office performance. But I'm not talking about LibreOffice. You already seen that so many times. Instead, I looked into Journal++, a PDF annotation software. I connected my drawing tablet to Pi and launched Journal++. Pressure sensing was working well, and I was able to draw something. The drivers were working well. But the drawing was flickering seriously. I guess it is because of graphics backend issue. I tried toggling hardware acceleration, but graphics options didn't even exist. So instead of using Journal++, I tried another annotation software by KDE, Ocular. Though it didn't have pressure sense, overall experience was more satisfying. I didn't face any bugs or performance issue. Scrolling was really smooth. But I wanted to get fun on my setup. I couldn't be on my work all day long. So I searched for Discord client, but it didn't support ARM architecture, even though it was just a web app inside a custom browser. So I ended up using Vanguard, the third-party Discord client. It supports ARM64 architecture and comes with many tweaks. I wanted more fun. I watched YouTube video on my Pi. But after playback was begun, all the cores were struggling to run. Hardware acceleration was seriously broken, even with H260/45 extension. You can see a lot of frames are being dropped. Even AVC1 codec is being used. Though playing offline videos did work, I think this is an important issue to be fixed. But I wanted to get even more fun. I wanted to play Minecraft. No, not the one shipped with Pi 3B. I am talking about modern, full-featured Minecraft. I mean, the name is literally Java Edition. And the game uses just Java 21. It should be cross-platform, so I come with Prism Launcher, mainly because I thought some tweaking is required for Raspberry Pi, and I needed some well-made optimization mode. At first try, it threw some warning message and refused to launch. But turns out you can get around this by setting environment variable. So how's the performance? Well, not so much. I had to scale down the rendering with mod to quarter or full resolution to get playable frame rate. And because of that, the screen looks so awful. But it is still 14 to 15 FPS, and it gets worse without the resolution mode. That is far, far away from playable. Oh, and forgot to mention, all my footages are with GPU overclocking with Jeff Geerling's preset. But still, this is quite a remarkable result. Remember the days. So can you use Pi as daily driver? It is complicated. You won't get reasonable GPU performance with Raspberry Pi. You will need Orange Pi or something for that. ARM64 software is widely available. You won't have problems in most cases. Video decoding still can be a major issue though. I didn't expect Pi's GPU to be fast, but not this bad. Raspberry Pi Corp should get better GPU if they wish to sell Pis as my first computer. I hope this video was fun. See you next time.